The little boy.
10 now in front of the hour. A good Sunday morning. Bill Keneally here alongside Kelly Cass in our Tropical Update sponsored by Home Depot. Start you off by looking at what's happening in the eastern Atlantic, namely with a brand new tropical depression number 7. This one is looking like it will intensify by 11 a.m., likely to be a tropical storm. And if that would be the case, that would be Tropical Storm Debby. And right now, Debby is still a depression. Top winds are 35 miles per hour. The center point, 13.5 north, 47.5 west, about 930 miles east-southeast of the Leeward Islands. The island chain we're referencing pretty much the northern chain here, so roughly from, say, Guadeloupe to Antigua to the Virgin Islands. That's the area we're going to have to watch the next 36 to 48 hours. Pressure estimated at 1,006 millibars. I haven't confirmed it, but I think the Hurricane Center will be out there investigating later on today, and surely coming up on Monday they'll be looking at it. But here's how it looks. Again, it's starting to congeal, starting to come together. Here are the islands right in here, so you can see it's still a fair distance away, but it's moving along at a pretty good clip now. So I think by late morning we may see some hurricane watches, at least tropical storm watches up for those northern Leeward Islands. Here's how it looks over the closer to home area. Caribbean Sea showing that it is relatively quiet. There's still a bit of a southwest wind blowing here, a bit of a trough going in the region, but everything is starting to migrate westward, so I think the environment will continue to be favorable, kind of incubating the system as it comes westward. Obviously, water temperatures, that's a no-brainer. That's favorable, but even the upper air wind pattern appears to be relatively ripe for some strengthening, slowly but surely. Speaking of strengthening and weakening and strengthening and weakening, well, Hurricane Alberto keeps on keeping on. As of 5 a.m., centered at 37 north and 48 west, about 1,050 miles west-southwest of the Azores, which are right here, but it's heading generally this way and then probably back this way. So it did a full loop, a teaser, if you will, and now it's going to be heading out pretty rapidly. Top winds, though, very formidable at 105 miles per hour. Movement off towards the north. Again, a well-defined eye, that is obvious, versus, say, the developing tropical depression, which is starting to come together and collect itself. And once again, this one is pretty far south in latitude, so we are going to worry about this one for the days to come. Will it impact the U.S.? Hard to say right now. There is a bit of a trough setting up shop for middle to late week, and hopefully that'll be what we can have to ward off the potential hurricane. Caribbean Sea, as said, the big picture, pretty quiet. A little cloud cover, but nothing organized in the western Caribbean Sea and even the Gulf of Mexico. Outside of that one complex is showing no signs of organization. A bit of an upper low spinning down there north of the Yucatan Channel. Off of Mexico, nothing organized here either, a bit of a complex, and another one now to the southeast of the Gulf of Tehuantepec. We'll watch that one. That seems to be a region that time after time has been favorable for development. Here's how it looks over the Midwest, a big complex of very heavy rain. Kelly and I were looking back at the numbers. St. Joseph, Missouri, conservatively, you've had about 3.5 inches of rain, and that is confirmed here by looking at the radar estimation. Looks like St. Joe right around here, but north of here, up around the area from Maryville to maybe Falls City, Nebraska, probably more like 4 to 5 inches of rainfall. Again, the lightning tracker showing some lightning strikes now running downriver from St. Louis. Everything kind of riding along a warm front. And once again, the air is fairly sticky here, so fairly conducive for the showers and a thunderstorm complex. And it's all riding pretty much in that zone where it is very favorable. So let's take a look. Here's St. Louis looking down towards Rolla, the Mark Twain National Forest, and Cape Girardeau. There's your heavy rain right along I-55. More building, though, up there by Trenton and Maryville on I-35. And just a confirmation, very soggy in St. Louis, Missouri.
This program was sponsored by the Home Depot, where low prices are just the beginning.
The Home Depot continues to lower the cost of home improvement.
Glidden Interior Flat Paint is now just $7.97 a gallon at the Home Depot. Every single color under the sun, every single day, just $7.97. And if you need any other paint supplies, remember, the Home Depot is America's favorite paint store. So paint your nursery.
Your extended forecast.
Welcome back to Stormwatch. It's now 50 minutes past the hour. We want to join Dr. Steve Lyons, who has an update on the fourth named tropical storm of the season in the Atlantic.
Well, thanks. And it is Debby. And let's take a quick look at the large-scale picture, and we'll zoom in. Now, Debby's down here to the south as a tropical storm, and you can see that just to the north of it, there's a ridge of high pressure. Extends all the way across to the Florida Peninsula, and then there's a trough of low pressure off the east coast. You can see that trough up here. This is our hurricane up here. That's Alberto. Here's our tropical storm down here, and it's continuing to move pretty much to the south of this ridge of high pressure, and that looks like it's going to continue to keep it on that west-northwest track. It doesn't look like it's going to be possible for it to turn to the north, at least in the near future, and because of that, we expect it to head right toward the northern islands. Now, here's the latest as of 11 a.m. from the Hurricane Center: 14.3 north, 49.7 west, winds about 45 miles per hour, moving to the west-northwest at 18 miles per hour, pressure 1,003 millibars. So you can see it's about 48 hours away from the islands. So what you need to do when you look at this system and say, okay, where's it going to go? The center is roughly in here, but don't concentrate too much on the center. The broader circulation is a more important thing, and so from the northern islands to the central islands over here, you should be prepared for some brisk winds, some heavy rain, and the possibility of some large surf. The stronger winds and the higher seas are up in here, but they're going to be generated all the way from the central islands northward over the next 24 to 36 hours. You'll see increases in the seas. Now, the projected path is to continue on a west-northwest track right up through the area generally toward Puerto Rico and the northern Virgin Islands and the northern islands north of Martinique. Time frame roughly 72 hours to the extreme eastern edge of the Dominican Republic. Beyond that, it's a little too early to tell, but keep in mind that ridge to the north would generally tend to keep it moving in a westward direction beyond that, but it's a little hard to tell right now. So we could see some tropical storm warnings or hurricane watches go up here later today or early tomorrow morning for these northern islands. The system's moving pretty quickly to the west right now. Now, we also have another hurricane out there, a very long-lived one, Hurricane Alberto. Winds 100 miles per hour, moving to the north at 7 miles per hour. And you can see that well-defined eye. As a matter of fact, at a close-up view, it looks like that eye is forming a new eye wall that's contracting in, so we may see actually some intensification of this by 5 p.m. Amazing, but no threat to land right now, only to the high seas. If you're heading out to the Western Pacific, watch out if you're going to Taiwan. Typhoon moving your way. Now let's get back to the studio with Melissa.
And across the nation's midsection, we've been watching this area of rain that has continued to pretty much fall apart as it moves through the Tennessee River Valley. Later on today, though, we'll keep an eye to the sky across the northern plains. Around Bismarck and Minot, you could be seeing some stronger thunderstorms, and also some wet weather across the deep south. Just offshore of Florida, we've been seeing numerous showers and thunderstorms causing some problems for anybody with any marine interests. And as we take you further to the south, northwest of Gainesville, we're seeing some scattered showers, and offshore here at Panama City and Pensacola, we're seeing some showers and thunderstorms. Stay tuned. Coming up next, Weather Center with Bill Keneally and Kelly Cass.
I didn't want mail.
You don't have to sacrifice service to save money. Geico, a 15-minute call could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Thanks.
At Geico, we work 24 hours a day. Fortunately, we're equipped for the job. Geico, a 15-minute call could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Back to school is the perfect time to get AOL.
It's the ultimate school supply.
It's like a library in my kitchen here.
And on AOL, you can do all your back-to-school shopping. It's the easiest way to stay in touch.
You've got mail.
Before you go back to school, join America Online. Call 1-800-4ONLINE.
I became a vet to keep pets healthy.
And nothing keeps pets healthier than Hill's Science Diet. It has a superior antioxidant formula and higher levels of vitamin C and E. No wonder it's the #1 choice of vets. Science Diet. Nothing keeps your pet healthier.
This is incredible stuff.
This is nothing.
Come on, this is nothing.
You should see what we've seen.
We have seen some incredible stuff.
Like the Coast Guard battling hurricanes, or how trade winds make Aruba the hotspot for windsurfing, or how NASA's #1 enemy is the weather.
Well, I'd love to see that.
He can, right, Mish?
Right, Jim?
Atmospheres,
That's right,
with
bud.
meteorologists Jim Cantori and Mish Michaels, premiering August 23rd on the Weather Channel. Atmospheres, with meteorologists Jim Cantori and Mish Michaels, premiering August 23rd on the Weather Channel.
The Weather Channel is brought to you by this cable or satellite.
It's a 10 on FX.
Brought to you locally by Tower Records. Drop in today or log on to www.towerrecords.com and save on all your favorite artists.
Now, it's time for your local forecast on the Weather Channel. Currently, the temperature is 72 degrees under fair skies. The forecast for your area. Your extended forecast.
Welcome to Storm Watch. I'm Nick Walker. We have severe weather occurring in portions of southern Mississippi on into Florida. A tornado warning right now for Jackson County in Mississippi. We'll talk about that in just a moment, but let's update you on the tropics now. Here, our tropical update. Let's take a look out in the Atlantic, and things are really beginning to get active here. As you can see, we have Hurricane Alberto, we have what's left of Tropical Depression Chris, and this is our latest tropical storm. This is Tropical Storm Debby. It's located 645 miles east of the Leeward Islands with winds in the center of 50 miles an hour. It's moving toward the west-northwest at 18 miles an hour with an estimated central pressure of 1,003 millibars. Debby very well could play a pretty important role in the tropics here over the next several days. As you can see, it's still a ways to go to the islands, but we already have some hurricane watches and some tropical storm watches in effect for the islands right now. Hurricane watches for areas like St. Martin, for Saba and St. Eustatius, and tropical storm warnings, I should say watches. These are watches for Anguilla, Barbuda, and Antigua. These are hurricane watches and tropical storm watches. The threat is not imminent, but by the time we get into probably late Monday and Tuesday, it's going to be reaching the islands, reaching very close to it, although right now the forecast track takes it a little bit toward the north. Anything could change here as we get toward the
latter part of Monday and on into Tuesday. So this is one that we want to keep an eye on, and you want to keep an eye on it too. We've been keeping an eye on Hurricane Alberto for days and days now. It's a hurricane again at 100-mile-an-hour winds, located 1,025 miles west of the Azores, moving toward the north at 6 miles an hour, just very slowly here, making no threat at all to any land areas. So its roundabout route is taking it now toward a more northerly direction, and again, no threat to us right now. This is no threat either, but we are watching it here in the Gulf of Mexico. It's a big band of showers and thunderstorms that has moved offshore. Now, there is precedent for bands of showers and thunderstorms moving offshore and developing tropically in the very warm waters here of the Gulf of Mexico. We don't want to put out any early heads up other than to say that we are keeping an eye on this, and if it doesn't dissipate in the next day or so, it may become a pretty important player here in the Gulf of Mexico. Now, let's take a look out toward the Pacific, and this is what's left of Hector. It is really stirring up the waters here around the Hawaiian Islands, and the Hawaii radar shows that we do have some rain across Molokai and the windward shores of Oahu, so it is bringing a little bit of rain to the island areas here. Let's move back into the United States now. Talk a little bit about the severe weather here in portions of Mississippi, the potential for severe weather here in the plains, and more severe weather back out into Colorado and Kansas. This is where we're seeing the tornado warning. In the last report we have here for Jackson County in southern Mississippi, at several areas affected by this in Jackson County, the thunderstorm producing a tornado moving south-southwest at 20 miles an hour. There is damage from a tornado at Escatawapa. I'm not pronouncing that correctly, but I'm sorry. We'll talk more about this on Weather Center.
Jay Bush here.
And Duke.
To introduce Bush's new maple-cured bacon baked beans. Roll that new beautiful bean footage. Maple-cured bacon, a secret blend of seasonings, and a touch of real maple syrup. Slow simmer till they reach the peak of flavor. Only one other soul knows my secret family recipe, and he's not talking. Are you, Duke?
What is it? What else is stuff?
I didn't think so. Try maple-cured bacon baked beans, new from Bush's.
On vacation, there are 3 things to consider when selecting a hotel. Location, location, location.
Kissimmee St. Cloud, right next door to the local.
Meanwhile, here is the tropical storm. And by the way, just to get your bearings, here we are in the United States. If you're watching us in Puerto Rico, here you are. And you may be looking right down the throat of Debby in several days. Tropical storm Debby now packing 50-mile-per-hour maximum sustained winds as the center of circulation is 550 miles east of the Leeward Islands. Now, these are the Leeward Islands, the northern half of the Caribbean chain that stretches all the way down to Trinidad and Tobago and Venezuela. It appears as if the northern third of the islands will be in harm's way. Now, when will it get here? Well, the movement at 18 miles per hour is anticipated to continue. So 18 miles into 550, and that's about 30 hours from now. That would be when the center of the circulation gets in. So let's figure tomorrow night the weather is going to begin to turn toward the bad side. So tomorrow is your day to do whatever preparations you need. There it is. It's still a fairly disorganized system. It's not one big blob. There is a little disturbance out ahead of it, and that appears to be robbing or disrupting some of the circulation. But still, we think the tropical storm is centered right underneath that big red blob, and some strengthening is likely as it moves toward the west-northwest. Here we are in Puerto Rico. Hurricane advisories are now up. The watches are up for the U.S. Virgin Islands, St. Martin, Saba, and St. Eustatius as tropical storm Debby heads your way. Tropical storm watches are in effect for these islands, including Antigua, Barbuda, the British Virgin Islands, Guadeloupe, Montserrat, Nevis, and St. Kitts. Once again, the track still toward the west-northwest at 15 to 18 miles per hour. And by Monday night, late, we should be feeling some of the wind and then the bands of heavy rain that'll be moving in, if this forecast verifies. Then there's Hurricane Alberto, packing 100-mile-per-hour sustained winds. It became a hurricane on August the 5th and is still going. This is just amazing. Look at that eye. This is slowly falling apart, And I would have thought that it would have weakened by now since it's moving so slowly. If a hurricane sits over the same area for a while, well, the warm water at the surface is just going all over the place, and cool water from underneath comes up to replace it. That's usually the death knell for a tropical system. Cool surface water, this thing is hanging on. That is really something. The longest lived tropical storm / hurricane in August ever since we've been keeping records. Here in the Gulf of Mexico, all is clear. Got some clouds moving east. And I'll tell you, if everything's still moving east by the middle or late next week, and Debby is still out there, Debby could be moving east into Florida or somewhere else in the southeast part of the United States. So it's still a ways away, but now is the time certainly to prepare. And look at this, the remnants of Hurricane Hector, now near Oahu. There have been thunderstorms here in Oahu. Thunder and lightning reported out here in Honolulu with a wind gust of 23 miles an hour. Winds are gusting to 40 miles per hour a little further east on the Hawaiian chain. That's a look at the tropics. We'll head back here next.
If you ever have a rough ride in the Lexus RX 300, it's not our fault.
I was only kidding.
Hands dry and cracking, elbows crusty and scaling. Tired of scraping coarse and calloused feet? Just dip it with IGEA Thermospa Paraffin Wax Therapy. Just dip your hands, feet, or elbows in the therapeutic heat wax system to restore your skin to silky smoothness. Now you can have the same paraffin wax treatment used in professional spas right in your own home. IGEA Thermospa's vitamin nourishing citrus wax exfoliates dead, dry skin from your hands. Just dip it and see the moisturizing heat of the paraffin wax enriching your skin. Take that sore, dry foot, just dip it, and look at the amazing difference. Calluses and dryness are gone in no time. Crusty elbows, no problem. Just dip it, and look how you rejuvenate your skin to a beautiful, youthful appearance. Paraffin wax therapy is also recommended.
Thunderstorms on Wednesday.